I will make it difficult for Kingston because we talked about it, and I will present Kingston a challenge.
I guess.
Is it enough of a challenge?
Yeah. Use this to create a robot.
You have passed the challenge.
This is
Hello,
Kingston here.
and I'm Kevin.
So today we will talk about how to use digital device to create art,
We create art anywhere, anytime.
day or night, and you will have no excuse because I guess most people will have at least one phone or tablet app developer. They will create something that allows you to draw with your digital device. For artists, this is a really great news because art is not a number one survival skill for human, but for artists, that's all we have. To improve in art is like our number one goal for ourselves or for work. But usually when we don't have a sketchbook or we don't have our computer, we don't have a good setup or table, chair or power plug, there will be a lot of excuses to tell our brain maybe we shouldn't draw
Or maybe you should just check your Facebook or Twitter.
yeah, maybe just play some game.
But you're also assuming every artist, they want to draw more than they want to check their Facebook.
Honestly, if you want to be good in art as a professional or want to land a job in the industry, you have to really see art as one of your survival skills. If not, it's actually pretty tough because for human to survive, your brain will make decisions based on how important it is for your survival. But art is definitely not one of it. Improving in art, you need a very strong objective or goal or discipline.
So if you're going to make art a low priority in life, then you will never get to that level to survive in the industry.
Even the paper is on in front of you, your sketchbook, they have excuses even. That's not the pencil that I used to draw, or I didn't bring that brush pen or whatever, and they just don't draw. But most people will have at least one phone or one tablet.
But even to draw on the phone, don't you still need a pen or a stylus to draw it good?
It's really about how flexible we are. As a human, we learn everything by our hand. The earlier drawing is all start from nothing, no tools, no nothing, right? You just use your hand or use whatever you can pick up. You start to visualize stuff. If the painting app or drawing app able to support tools and the workflow to use finger to paint, then you will have no excuses that I don't have Apple Pencil or I don't have the
Stylus.
Yeah.
It's just hard to imagine on such a small screen, fingers so big, you can still do something good. You're saying that's possible?
Yeah, totally. A lot of the painting apps, it actually allows you to create any line, any stroke that almost the same as how you do in digital painting on Photoshop. My concept of digital art is totally a simulation of art. It's not about create digital painting the same way like traditional drawing. It's about try to simulate the look. Using a pencil or using a finger, it doesn't really matter. As long as I can simulate the outcome of a traditional drawing, sketching, painting or color study. It's more about fundamental, like how many keywords from fundamental you understand in your mind. If you understand 10, it doesn't matter you use a pencil or finger, you should be able to apply the 10 of them. If someone only understands 3, the only thing you can apply is 3 types of fundamentals.
So it's not limited by the medium or the device, it's limited by
it's about
knowledge and
the sense that you understand from the fundamental. Right? If you find the value is not right, so then you increase the value or increase the contrast. If the brush stroke looks very stiff, and then you either smudge it, erase it, or you undo and draw again. There's a lot of options for you. And the app is totally capable to handle all this stuff.
When did you get started on this?
I started since Apple iPad 1. First one I tried is Brushes. It's a very simple app. It's free. I don't really care about what is the pressure sensitive or things like that. When I teach students about painting, they use just a basic hard round brush. If you can control the value opacity, you should be able to paint anything. And I bring it to anywhere, outdoor. Every lunchtime, I'm bringing my iPad to paint around the school area. And after that, my wrist feel a little painful. If I can't find a table, sometimes my brain just skip it. Yeah. That's the turning point that I use my phone to paint because the phone is so light. But it works really well because you have no limit in the steps of zooming in and out. And
do you still have the painting from those days?
Yeah, I still have it. Let's take a look. The apps I'm using now is SketchClub. So this is the latest one. I'm not really trying to create a lot of design challenge. So Mac is the topic that I feel more comfortable, that I don't need to have a lot of reference. I just draw to learn colors and lighting and stuff. Okay, so now I will show you guys how to use your iPad to create art. Apps I use is called SketchClub. Just create a new sketch, right? You can zoom in, zoom out with your two finger. There's a lot of different tools. The most often used will be brush, sketchy, smudge. For myself is factor or selection. So here is the opacity of all your brush. Let's say I just paint something. This is the size. Everything you have in Photoshop, you have it here. Go to the preference to set my undo to be just double click and just block out some shapes that I like. Go to brush, change your brush to different texture, or use soft brush for create gradation or transition. Then I have some oil paint looking texture, sketchy brush. It's really cool. You can create very beautiful traditional looking shape.
It's a line with shading.
With shading, yes. But when you draw, it's just a line. But when you move around, you see the shading. Eraser, of course. Soft eraser. Selection is awesome. So the selection, move around exactly like Photoshop. Why you need a pencil when you can handle all this stuff with immediate action? So
everything looks very intuitive.
Yeah, you can look image, get some images, and you have layers. This is for me to really try new things. I'm not using the most high-end machine.
And you forget about being precise.
Correct.
Set you free.
Correct. For me, I put 4 brush that I most common use, and my favorite tool here. You can change it by click hold and switch to another tool. Every button can switch to something else. This one is flip your canvas. So next, Kevin will use his basic understanding of this app to create something. I think it's not difficult at all.
It's not difficult at all. But I will make it difficult for Kingston because we talked about it, and I will present Kingston a challenge. I'm gonna do a rough sketch, and from that, Kingston will complete the drawing from my sketch.
So now is Kevin to Kingston challenge. So let's record it. Okay, now it's Kevin.
Okay, disclaimer, I really don't know how to draw. I think what I've done in drawing, it's all recorded in this channel. Well, actually, I don't need colors, right?
You don't need colors.
So yeah, the challenge, since Kingston's favorite is drawing robots.
I have a lot.
A lot of favorites.
Factor.
Oh.
My favorite too. Factor. I really hope Photoshop have this factor tools. It's so cool. Okay, I guess.
Is it enough of a challenge?
Yeah, it's cool. And I will use this robot. Use this to create a robot. Right, first maybe get this shape and scale it down and move it around. Okay, I like this shape. Let's start the robot from this shape then. If the value is in the canvas, I just stick with the value system. Try to use more stuff of what Kevin had done. This part I will use it for the neck, and this is gonna be the robot face. Take some mid-tone and just work with the form that I like. Facial area, I will try to clean it up. Try to really see kind of shape. I can really use them. If the idea is there, usually I would just play with texture, brush stroke, and sharpness. So I create some sharpness, some brush stroke. When I see language, I will just stick with it. The neck.
What do you mean language?
The usable element in an abstract form.
Okay.
If the language is there, motivation will go up because I know it's gonna work. Why not just do some experiment with brush stroke, more like an artwork?
Well, expression.
Expression. So here it's kind of messy. So I use the factor to clean it up. I may use the factor to make it usable from the background color, cut into the shape. I make it kind of product looking. But here you need to make some decision at the silhouette. If you find this is the robot head, maybe it's a communication system. For example, this mic, and might have some shape that looks like you can talk in front of it, you can communicate. There's speaker, there's light, there's buttons, and all these are languages that you can borrow. Why not? I just follow the shape of the mic. my target now is getting the 3D shape.
So at this point, do you know?
Okay,
Do you
can
see already
ask me.
see a final?
Yeah, this is going to be the eye. I already see how to use this as a head shape or eye shape. A little bit of this dark area will be those facial stuff. Something represent the chin, something represent the mouth. Or if the robot have sound, it's going to be come out from here. And all this will be also to rotate.
So at this point, you've already cleaned up the silhouette, the shape, and
Yeah.
now you also are working on the details.
About to work on the detail. Because you don't have the half body, and I need to create some recognition of this as a robot. I help you to create at least a shoulder joint or something like that. And then I can go back to all this to get idea. Okay, I move it, I make it smaller about this so I can show the shoulder. Get some shape idea, like maybe this is the body shape, and then I go back to either the factor brush with some brighter value to really use that for the design. In the design process, SketchClub give me even more idea than with the workflow that I have in Photoshop. Give me a lot more freedom. Alright, so design is about there. You can flip it and check, you can distort it by holding one of the corner and move around. And this is okay. Done. And
I'm still not seeing it.
usually viewers are very impatient. You just need some complexity or some shapes that you understand to recognize the facial part. For example, a representation of eye, mouth, like some white color, a dot or two dots. When you see stuff in the front facing area of a design, you call them
You would assume
The
you would
face.
already map it to an eye.
yeah, correct. So like all these are the element that you can use in design. Like things like that, you will immediately see it as part of the mouth or communication system. Like, if this part have a cut line, let's say I create a very strong cut line here, you would
What is a
think
cut line? Is
the
it
panel line, like how parts assemble together. So you would think maybe the hard disk is the brain that control the eye, the camera, or the communication system should be installed and can be opened. So I figure out detail in this way. If I'm the maintenance guy, I gonna open, let the heat goes away, or this can be the main power for the whole body. Look at reference. I'm going more for practice value forms and languages, and also brushstroke. So I want to create a little more hardness or softness into my painting. And here will be the movement, so the head will turn and like something that can rotate or move. There must be a lot more density. You can make it more complex. I try to stick with your masterpiece. There's no other function except power, and that's the best part for people to put in logo. And it's free.
That's Kingston's logo.
My favorite, number 3. And neck movement. Movement needs support from the silhouette and detail following the silhouette. And after that will be the chest. Chest in a robot, what is the function? Maybe
About some weapons.
yeah, it could be weapons. Good idea. Good call. So every time when I design, I think about what they are. If I can't figure it out, I won't draw much until, or maybe protection. Then thickness of the protection. What is his job? Is he a policeman or just a worker board or something?
It's a war robot.
You only create a silhouette, okay?
This is a challenge.
The challenge. Anyway, raw robot, then maybe and think about the capability of him in the wall. If it's about weapons, he don't need to be a very big size robot. He just need to be very advanced.
Yeah. What would you add to make it ninja?
Let me get better form first. So I use the vector tools a lot to get forms. Pick white color and work on this area. It will give me some form. So I create a new layer and make it to multiply create a dark tone, overlay the whole canvas. If you have soft transition in the world, it will look more realistic. It's too dark for factor 2. So I just need some gradation. Then I use the bright color to work with the highlights and stuff. Detail areas, zoom in and really work on it. Percentage, go for that. If there's a light, go for it. Wow. So you're using your white color to bring up the highlight or material of your design. Different contour, make sure the focal point works. Communication system, go back to the bright and go a little more. And chest, important. Okay, overall is done, right? The rest is detail. You just move this and change. Okay. To get some detail, like for the arm, they are the same product, so it should have the same language. Designed by the same engineer, new layer on top. Just darken those non-focal point. Make sure people focus on the stuff that I want them to see. Okay, so the so-called design part is done. The rest will be arts. If you talk about do art, this is the time. Just get very subtle, like some background things. Everything is done in just a small iPad. It's your brain. That's why I always talk about painting is not from your hand, it's from your brain. So
You have passed the challenge.
this is what I have.
And congratulations. This is an amazing job from my masterpiece.
I think it's just about you have the fundamentals.
So Kingston has proven the limitation is not in the software or the hardware. The limitation is in you.
Yeah, usually the starting point is quite scary, but this is like perspective. It's very troublesome to learn. It's not difficult, it's just troublesome. But the more you do it, the more it becomes your friend. And it will help you to do even more complex stuff. I hope you guys like this episode and see some possibility for yourself to learn. I guess that's all for today.
That's all for today.
And
Look forward to your creations.
bye.